'Cause I've got a crush, my baby, on you.
Thank you very much. That's when I want to have my voice sound good, Carol. That was me singing right there. No, that was Ella from a great CD collecting her work with just a piano player. A great piano player, Ella Larkin. Pure Ella, what it's called. So I got links. Who's got links? We got links. Sausages, links, sausages. Sausage. So, listen. Carol, as a gay vegetarian, yes, it's true. 99% gay. I don't mind the ladies when they're around. You know how some gay guys are. I don't mind them. I don't mind the ladies when they're around. 99% gay, vegetarian. And vegetarian, I'm about 77%. So, Carol knows my deep, dark secret. That sometimes to reward myself after a terrible show and a terrible day, I hit the all beefs at Snoopy's. Shh. Wait, that's not how you go. Shh. Shh. How do you? What is the puppet language version of shh? There we go. Is that what's good? Shh. Oh, I'm learning every day. Every day is a new adventure. I will never commit suicide. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. All kinds of good stuff could happen tomorrow. Shh. All right. So, what was I talking about? Oh, as a gay, mostly gay, almost 70% vegetarian. No, I am. In my daily life, I'm vegetarian. I eat cheese and milk and fish. That's not vegetarian, is it?
It's got a face.
Pescarian. Yeah. Pescatarian. I eat eggs too, which is fetal chickens. So, okay.
Not if they're not fertilized or not.
Oh, not if they're not fertilized. Oh, good. So as long as the female chicks don't get the male sperm in them, then I'm still vegetarian.
Yeah, so those eggs you're eating from me are not fertilized.
Okay, so the eggs I'm getting from Carol and her girlfriend and her chickens and ducks, they're not fertilized. So I'm still vegetarian. I don't know, Carol. They're still kind of fetal chickens. They're still coming out of the butt end of a chicken. The cloaca. Cloaca, Carol. You learned that new word today. You knew one. Carol raises chickens. She knows what a cloaca is. Okay.
And the common term is the vent.
It's what?
The common term is the vent.
The vent is what they call it. All right, here we go. Let's do a giveaway, Carol. You ready?
Okay.
I got a, what should we do? $10 gift certificate to the Reader's Corner? First person who calls up and tells me what a cloaca is. Cloaca. All right, so anyway, so these eggs, the cloaca, it's all together one thing. So what was I talking about? Oh, yeah. As a mostly gay, mostly vegetarian monkey, I feel uniquely qualified to talk about the new hot dog place that opened up on Fayetteville Mall this week. Did you hear about it, Carol?
I did not.
Tasty Eights. They got 8 different kinds of hot dogs. One of them's falafel instead of a veggie dog, which I think's a cop-out. Isn't that a cop-out, Carol?
That doesn't sound right.
Come on, Tasty Eights, you're a hot dog joint, and your vegetarian option is falafel? Come on, that's a cop-out. But, so anyway, I got their chicken dog. It was pretty good. Their apple chicken sausage dog. It was pretty good. And they have sweet potato fries, which is nice at 2 in the morning when you're eating some. And they got dipping sauces. It's not bad. It's right on Fayetteville Street. And I would say that, if you're going to support the wholesale slaughter of intelligent pigs, and who doesn't? That was a joke. Although in this case I got chicken sausage, Carol. Chickens are not, how smart are chickens, Carol?
That depends.
That depends, she says. That depends on the chickens. Carol, where's your microphone?
Oh, it's in the doorway.
Oh, get your microphone. Come on, man, that depends on the chickens was a great line. Some chickens are better than others. Some chickens are more equal than others.
Some are sweeter than others. Some will want to come sit in your lap, and other ones just want to peck your eyes out, so you never know.
Oh, just like monkeys.
Yep.
Just like humans. Oh, chickens are different. All right, that's good to know. Anyway, so we got to talk about the Disney-fication of Hillsborough Street. And I use the term Disney-fication advisedly because the head of the Hillsborough Street Services Corporation, which is ostensibly designed to help business on Hillsborough Street, but really is just, I'm sorry, the guy's name who's the head of it is Jeff Murrison. He cares only about development. And he only cares about big national chains coming in. Because somehow to him, that means, that we've arrived. So small local businesses that occupy one-story buildings, Carol, on Hillsborough Street are just, they're non-functional, they're obsolete, they're, ugly, gritty, dirty, and the NNO buys into this. The NNO consistently says, oh, it's just we're losing dive bars, we're losing Pantana Bob's, we're losing the brewery, those dive rat-infested flea traps. Flea traps, one of their columnists actually called the brewery.
So many memories at those places, all the college students. I mean,
oh man, but yeah, they're great places.
I wouldn't remember. I went to Chili's.
Yeah.
I had a good time at Pantana Bob's.
That's right.
The Comet. Oh my God, the Comet. How awesome was that?
The Comet had some good moments. But here's the thing, Carol. The NNO's people, Colin Campbell and Josh Schaefer and all these other guys who moved here recently, it must be added, who are suddenly talking about how gritty and dirty and underdeveloped Hillsborough Street is, they're full of crap. That's a crappy way to talk about Hillsborough Street. Yes, NC State turned its attention to Tryon Road and Centennial Campus, right? We know that. For 10, 15 years, NC State was looking over there, south and west, or east, beach, east. South and east. I look towards Centennial and Tryon Road, I'm like, well, that's kind of towards the beach, so southeast. But you say southeast, that means the black neighborhoods in Raleigh, and that's not what I mean. But you know what I mean. NC State ignored Hillsborough Street, started putting all these students down on Tryon Road and Centennial and all these buildings. And so they helped change the focus of the city away from Hillsborough Street. So yeah, there were lots of empty buildings. There still are, right? But the NNO's coverage is sitting there talking about all these gritty, dirty dive bars. That's all they care about. Oh, that culture. And it's like, Carol, if you've ever been to a Hillsborough Street that's a Hillsborough Street bar that's a dive bar, that you're calling a dive bar, you ain't never been to a real dive bar. I'm sorry, these are college bars. They may not be the cleanest bars around, but they're not dive bars. Dive bars, man, there's people coking up and having sex in the toilets. Right? That's a dive bar. You walk in a dive bar and you're like, oh, sorry, excuse me. Oh, and you go out in the bathroom. That's a dive bar. I'm sorry, that's just not happening. So but the main point is, the head of the Hillsborough Street Services Corporation, Jeff Murrison, was quoted a couple years back saying, people want different things today. They want a Disney experience. This is what his vision for Hillsborough Street is, Carol. This is the guy who's supposed to be helping out businesses on Hillsborough Street. They want a Disney experience, and we want to make that happen, he says. Something like that. Disney experience on Hillsborough Street.
It's like what happened to Times Square. Nobody from New York goes there.
But there's no chance we're going to get that. And what does that mean? That means he wants big national chains to wipe out small local businesses. Now I happen to work at a small local business on Hillsborough Street, so perhaps I'm getting a little upset about this. But, luckily we own the land. Well, not me, but, the owners own the land. And so they can, once a month, Carol, these suits come in.
You want to sell?
Once a month. And they got a clipboard in one hand, and they got a tie. I'm talking about this. And I just go, that way. The boss is back there, right? And they're thinking about it. So I could be out of a job, right? They have to be idiots. The offers are just going to go up and up and up. They own land on Hillsborough Street. I'm in one of those one-story buildings. We're a bookstore that's been there since 1975. It was a general store before that.
Do they own that house next door too?
Yeah, we own, well, listen to me, I'm just I'm an hourly employee, right? Full time with health insurance, but still. So but my point is it's true, it's happening up and down the street. And for the NNO to focus on, all these dive bars, no, there are successful long-term businesses on Hillsborough Street who are in the sights of these developers. And people like Jeff Murrison from the Hillsborough Street Services Corporation, who were like, oh no, people want Disney, and that's what we're going to give them. That's what we're aiming to provide. It's not just dive bars, NNO. It's not just dive bars and quote, unquote, I got to get some sticks for these arms, Carol. It's not, I got to get some sticks for these arms. I can make some points. So, it's not just time. They got to change their whole framing of what's happening on Hillsborough Street. NNO's got it's so sad that these gritty, small places are, it's like, no. You're deliberately changing the tenor. I don't know. Disney-fication. Maybe the NNO needs to stop talking about dive bars and grit so much in their articles about what the changes that are happening on Hillsborough Street. Huh? Yeah, I think so. We're all agreed. Good, Carol, we're all agreed. Let's move on. All right. Should we let's put up number 9 real fast, Carol. I'm sorry, let's move on. What? Oh, let's move on a little bit further east and a little bit further north from Hillsborough Street to the Capitol Boulevard North Corridor, the corridor right before you hit downtown as you're coming down Capitol Boulevard from the north. Now, it's great that they want to do a greenway there, Carol. It's great. They're going to do a greenway. They've already taken down the bowling alley that was there, right? They're in negotiations with the motel that's there, the Foxy Lady. Those are all going to be gone. It's in a floodplain, so that's, I suppose, one excuse. But those are all going to be gone as the city kind of pulls they're paying for it, but who knows if it's actual going market rate. I think municipalities almost never pay going market rate for this stuff. They do everything they can to go below market rate, right? They do. Anyway, Foxy Lady is going to be gone. That motel next to it's going to be gone. Think of the memories, Carol. Just think of all those good memories at the motel next to the Foxy. No, they are a business. They have a right to exist too. They do. But yeah, the city's going to take all that and turn it into a greenway park. And Carol, every time I ride my bike down there, Carol, I will shed a tear. Okay, maybe not. But, it's important to keep an eye on this stuff. The city doesn't always make good decisions. The sign ordinance thing that they're pulling, and Thomas Crowder's ridiculous attempt to get police to look in your shop windows. We talked about this. We have blinds in our windows to keep the sun from damaging the merchandise. He gonna outlaw that too next? The city's not making great decisions, right? Oh, we need to talk about Uber, Carol, but let's talk about Ferguson. So number 5 is Ferguson. And I've been linking a lot to a lot of stuff about the Ferguson. And now that we've got what could be, and I say could be, we don't know for sure, audio of the shootings. Some guy was in his house. You heard this, right, Carol?
I did not.
Some guy was in his house Skyping or something with somebody. And it's kind of weird. He's like, hey, baby. You hear him. It's like, it is. Come on, you've heard the audio, right? Carol, you got to hear this audio. The guy's like, hey, baby. And then you hear bam, 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 bam. Was that 6? Bam, 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 bam. Yeah. Bam, 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 bam. Then a pause. Bam, 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 bam. Another 4 or 5 after that. But there's a pause. And the police confiscated the cell phones that should have video of that. No one's seen the confiscated cell phone videos yet. No one. I got to tell you, Carol, police ever wants to confiscate my cell phone video of a police shooting,
You have to shoot me.
I'm running.
Yeah.
I'm running. I will run. I will hand it off to somebody else. I'll pretend to do a fake pass, a fake handoff to somebody else. I will run. I'll then do a fake handoff to somebody else and then run. I'm showing it to my lawyer first. We're making a copy. Then we're giving the police our cell phone video. They confiscated all the cell phones right away. That's wrong. No one's seen them except the police. That's wrong. That's wrong. I don't know if it's legal. It probably is. Evidence, they can say. But it's wrong. It's wrong. I don't know if they can take your cell phone from you. They can't stop you from filming. They can claim they can take it. They intimidated a girl into giving it up. I don't think it was legal. I think she could have kept it. You know? A warrant to seize property, right? They need a warrant. I don't know. I'm guessing. I'll talk to a lawyer. I'll let you know next week. But you can turn down a police request to take your cell phone for video. I'm pretty sure of that. But don't trust me on that. I hate for anybody to go to jail or get shot. I'll talk to a lawyer. I'll get back to you next week. So it'll be interesting to see. Now, the problem is this came out before anybody has seen the official police story from the officer involved. There's no incident report, remember? Right, Carol? None. No incident report. He never called it in. Just crazy stuff. And then the history we've seen with other Ferguson police officers? Come on. There's a serious problem in Ferguson right there. It's an ongoing racial problem in the Ferguson police force going back years. We've seen the evidence. And now nobody's seen the incident report from this cop? Nobody knows what the cop's story is? They've circled the wagons. It will be interesting to see, if we ever find out, whether the police change their story based on this audio. How much did the officer's original report fit the new audio? Huh? I'm telling you, man, you ever pull a video of something like this? Do not give it up to the cops. Check back next week. I'll talk to a lawyer. We'll make sure that's legal. But I would still, even if it wasn't legal, I would still not give it up to the cops. I would say, you're going to have to arrest me. And then throw it to somebody else and say, run. And then when they got shot, Carol, I would feel really bad. Number 6, Carol. You've been following this thing at the Walmart shooting in Ohio?
I read the initial report, but I have not followed up.
You need to keep following this. You need to keep following this stuff. Black man in the toy department at Walmart, right? Talking to his girlfriend on the phone. Hey, honey, hey, sweetie. Looks up and grabs a toy gun, a toy rifle off the shelf. Cops don't even give him a chance. The last thing his girlfriend heard was, it's a toy, and bam, 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 he's dead. If it was a white man, you think they would have done that? That's the question, isn't it? I don't know the answer. How many of these do we need, though, before we start seeing a pattern? Black men are easy to shoot for cops. It's a pattern. They almost never get any kind of consequences. There was a great piece at Vox.com about why Darren Wilson almost certainly will never get prosecuted. You should be following this. The parents, the father, got to see the Walmart surveillance video because the governor, or the attorney general, of Ohio, the state of Ohio, invited them to watch it. Now, what do you think is going on there? That's called transparency. They're not releasing it to the public, Carol, because it's evidence they don't want to taint the jury pool. I can almost understand that. In fact, I can understand that. But they let the parents and the parents' lawyers see it. That's good. That's transparency. Why have Ferguson not let Michael Brown's parents see the confiscated cell phone video that they've got? Why? Why haven't Michael Brown's parents seen the video that the cops have seen in Ferguson, Missouri? Why? In Ohio, the state attorney general actually showed them the Walmart surveillance video. Right thing to do. Transparent. Cops serve us, not the other way around. And really, the Fox News spin on this has been incredible, but I don't see how anybody with half a brain cannot look at what the Ferguson police did there and say that was insane. An insane overreaction. Boys with toys. Let's use the military equipment, right? Insane overreaction that made things worse. We know that. Showing up in full riot gear on tanks and aiming automatic weapons at peaceful protesters just escalates. It's the worst. And Carol, this ties in with other police problems. Mentally ill people getting shot instead of handled. It happened again, another mentally ill guy. The guy's father was right there. This was a white guy, just this week. Guy's father was right there. Said, let me talk to him. And the cops refused to let the father get close to him. And the guy ended up dead. The mentally ill guy ended up dead. Crazy. These guys are supposed to be trained on this. It makes you wonder, how well trained are the Raleigh Police Department on how to handle agitated, mentally ill people without freaking killing them? Makes you wonder. All right, what do we got next, Carol?
We got Israel.
Oh, God, Israel. Oh. All right, let me just say this again. Two quick things. Israel's been bombing those apartments, right? These like fancy schmancy for Gaza. Fancy, although they're probably more than I could afford, Carol, or you know. Fancy upper middle class Gaza apartment buildings. Using the excuse that Hamas had an office in one of them at one point. Although, by all accounts that I've read, including accounts in Israeli newspapers, Hamas had closed out that office a while ago. It was a temporary office. The Israeli government, what they call it, Carol, is they call it knocking on the roof. They knock on the roof 4 times. Imagine this, you're at home. Explosion on the roof. Did you hear that? Yes, honey, I heard that. Uh-oh. We okay? Yes, honey, we're all right. Everything's fine. Okay. 15 minutes later, another explosion on the roof. Did you hear that? I did. Is this one of those knock on the roof things? Could be. 20 minutes later, another explosion on the roof. 15 minutes later, another explosion. Everyone's out of the apartment building at this point, right? These are upper middle class Gazan residents, wealthy people. By Gazan standards and probably by standards of you and me too. Then Israel decimates the apartment building. You know what that is? That's attacking civilians to put pressure, political pressure, on the Hamas leadership. You could argue it worked. There's a ceasefire now. But that is so illegal. Targeting civilians to put pressure on, that's terrorism. Targeting civilians to make a political point. Terrorism. There is no doubt the Israeli government engaged in terrorism in destroying those apartment buildings, in my mind.
Coming up on 3 minutes.
Meanwhile, over in the West Bank, they're continuing to build settlements on new Israeli Jewish settlements on Palestinian land. And these settlements are being driven by fundamentalist Jews from Brooklyn, right? The worst right-wing fundamentalists you can imagine, who moved there from Brooklyn and Russia and other places. They're newbies to Israel. They're still building new settlements on Palestinian land. What would you do? A month before this war started and the Gazan rockets and everything started and those kids those 3 Israeli teenagers got kidnapped, right? And the Israeli government lied about them possibly being alive to stir up the Israeli public. This is just fact. The Israeli government lied when it knew they were dead to stir up sentiment. A month before all this happened, the Israeli government announced 1,500 new settlements on Palestinian land. And that has nothing to do with this? Stealing Palestinian land regularly over and over and over again. Settlements increase during times of peace negotiations with Israel. It's crazy. The Israeli, what? Oh, yeah, we can mention it. Just keep an eye on my Twitter feed, and I'll be glad to keep pointing you to interesting links. But the settlements continue. They're stealing Palestinian land every freaking day. All right. I don't know if people watch Cinemax, but there's a new series directed by Steven Soderbergh, Carol. He's directing every episode. It's about a hospital called the Knickerbocker in New York in the early 1900s. Oh, it's more gruesome than Hannibal. Because, Carol, this was the early days of surgery. They're cutting up people right in the opening scene. They're cutting up a woman trying to get her baby out. I don't know, maybe later in 20 years I'll call this a C-section. Trying to make it work, right? With the anesthetic there and everything. Colin, what's his name? Clive Owen. Clive Owen's the main doctor. He's addicted to cocaine. He shoots it up in his testicles. and his toes. Oh, at one scene he has a nurse go, now just lift up and put the vein underneath my penis there. Yeah, please, I'm jonesing. And it's really good. That's quality entertainment right there. Clive Owen asking a nurse to inject his penis with cocaine. But it's also really good in terms of period atmosphere. Plus, they use an electronic soundtrack. It's this really weird, glitchy electronic soundtrack that really works to make it sound weird and foreign and modern, all and old, all at the same time. It's really well done. So, beg, borrow, or steal The Knick on Cinemax. It's a good show. 3 episodes so far. We'll see you next week. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.